Alright, looks like we're up and running. Let me just tell everyone. Okay, hold on. One more thing. One more thing. There we go. So, welcome to another round of Aero League Racing Season 15 GT7 Championship. This is Tier 3. We're at round 6 now of the season, so we're getting to the business end of proceedings here. At the moment, Peachy's got quite a good lead in the championship in his M6. He's been pretty unstoppable all season long. His nearest rival is his teammate Kanata, so we've got a bit of Hamilton-Bottas kind of situation going on. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Peachy's been racking up the wins pretty handily at the moment. But anyway, let's go through the grid. We got Julio is in 15th place, lining up in the McLaren. I'm pretty sure that is. Yeah, it is the McLaren. So not getting the best performance out of the car in qualifying. This is a very, very tricky track where people need to practice a lot more than other tracks because some of the corners are pretty difficult. The tyre wear's incredibly high as well. He's on the softs. I think everyone might risk the softs by the looks of things. Deco lining up P14, so he was incredibly quick. I'd even say potentially tier 1 pace in this GR Supra last week in Sardinia. But only lining up in P14 tonight, so I think it's safe to say he's not enjoying this track as much. We've got the Jag of Cameron. He's struggling again in the Jag. He's not really been able to get any good results so far this season. So yeah, it will be maybe a tough one, but I think the Jag's got pretty good tyre life, so maybe he'll be able to pick off some of these boys when they start struggling towards the end of the race. We got Harry back for his second race of his comeback. He's lining up in P12 in the GTR. Then Anonymous up in 11th. He was on better form in the FT1 last week. Harry's on the mediums, by the way, so that's an interesting one. So he might drop back a little bit at the start and then find some pace towards the end. But yeah, Anonymous is 11th. Jezza in 10th, pretty much where we expect to see him in the Lambo. Lambo's pretty strong around here, so expecting to see maybe a bit of an improvement for Jezza as the race wears on, because the Lambo seems to love this track. I think it might be the best car here. Pyro is 9th, bit of a disappointing qualifying for him in the Mazda. Then we've got Astro up in 8th in the RCZ, another mid-MR car. I think the MR cars are doing pretty well looking up the grid. Got another one in the McLaren of Prime Call, 7th. Bit lower than we're used to seeing Prime Call these last few races, actually. Senor Fax definitely got used to the Renault now. He's lining up in P6, just behind his teammate Eroticos. So the two Renaults on the third row there. Kanata, who I said is P2 in the championship, in the M6 is lining up P4. So he needs to chase down his teammate, who he's got in his sights there at the start. We're going to have Hurricane making his return to Monday Night Racing. He's in the Lamborghini and managed to put it on P3, so not a bad first qualifying after about 3 months without racing, so pretty decent for him. Then we got Spin up in P2, so this is the best qualifying for Spin since round 1, actually. He is lining up in 2nd and has a great chance of adding to his opening round win if he can maybe get Peachy off the line, but Peachy's got another pole position, so yeah, it's looking a bit ominous in terms of the title fight, with him lining up ahead and quite a few positions ahead of Kanata, and then no one else is really in the title fight at the moment. Everyone else battling for the lower positions in the top 5. But yeah, it's all to play for that, for sure. Okay, so Peachy actually got pulled by less than half a tenth, so 0.048 was the gap. Interesting. I think a few of these guys actually got into the 40s, which is quite difficult to do around here. So that was pretty good for them. But yeah, let's get the race up and going. We've got the sprint coming at you first. 9 laps around Alsace, very high tyre wear, lights out, away we go. And it looks like a very good start for Spin. Spin's already ahead of Peachy. Eroticos with that typical fantastic start in the Renault up into P3. Hurricane in P4 battling him around turn 1. Peachy falling a little bit backwards into the clutches of Hurricane actually. Hurricane making a challenge in his Lamborghini around the outside of turn 2. And it looks like Hurricane might have got the position. He's actually challenging now, and he's got the inside line, and Eroticos is trying to follow him through as well. So Hurricane's definitely got the position now. Eroticos and Peachy battling it out as we head to the end of Sector 1. Eroticos just slotting in ahead of his teammate Senor Fak in 5th place there. So good start for the Renault boys. Looks like Pyro's managed to gain 1 position and is up into 8th place as well. Very good start for Spin, though, it's got to be said. Let's join him. He's built up a little bit of a lead with Hurricane currently battling Peachy once again. He's got the inside line for the corner, and he keeps the position. And Rotko's trying to switch back on Peachy, and he's going to try and have to hang it around the outside of this really, really long right-hander. Lovely banked corner, multiple lines you can take through there, but Peachy wins out for now, and Eroticos just behind, might be challenging him as we have the heavy braking point into this hairpin. Everyone manages to avoid contact. Eroticos got a little bit of contact actually between him and Peachy, loses them both a little bit of time. Astro meanwhile has got past Senor Fak, so he's up into the top 5 now. And then we got Kanata has dropped all the way down to 8th, so not a good start at all in this race for the man in 2nd place in the championship. He's currently sandwiched between Pyro and Prime Call, who are both no slouches so far this season, but we're coming to finish the opening lap. Looks like Eroticos and Peachy both had a bit of a moment coming out of the final corner. Looks like Eroticos is going to keep that position. Peachy now having to go defensive on Astro, but instead he's braked incredibly late and he gets the position on Eroticos as well, so Neofak gets past Astro and all that. And Peachy's at the head of this group, but it looks like everyone is starting to bunch together here. Now let's see, is anyone going to have a little go into the deep downhill braking zone? It's another one you can take multiple lines through that corner. Looks like Eroticos and Pyro are pretty close now, so let's join on board with Pyro because he's got a lot of cars behind him and a lot of cars ahead of him. Eroticos dips his tyres into the dirt, but he keeps enough of a gap on Pyro. Meanwhile, Kanata's thinking about a go on Pyro, but nothing he can do there. So, looks like Peachy's getting away with it for now. Let's just ride on board with him and see how all these guys are coming. It looks like Astro and Kanata are having a little battle further back. Pyro's thinking about a move himself around the outside of Eroticos. Is he going to try and cut back in? Eroticos goes very, very wide. Loses a lot of time. That's going to give Pyro a much better exit than Eroticos, and now he's going to try and drag Eroticos into this braking zone, but Eroticos still just far enough ahead to keep the position. Goes very, very deep into the hairpin and just about keeps the position. A little bit of contact as well, but Eroticos is going to tuck in right in front and loses traction. He's off track as well. He's going to lose a 2nd position to Kanata as well. It looks like Astro might just be a little bit too far back unless he's feeling brave with a bit of a dive bomb here. He decides against it. Eroticos still gives him the space regardless. Eroticos not really hitting the apexes very well on this lap. Astro losing huge traction on the final corner, and Prime Call should get this position into turn 1. Astro's held it really well, going the long way around, and has the position still. That should have been a pretty textbook overtake by Prime Call, but he maybe just gave Astro a little bit too much room there for him to be able to get the position back. Jezza lurking in the background as well in this Lamborghini. It's got great tyre wear around here. Everyone's still fairly close, a little bit further up. It looks like Senor Fak is really close to Peachy right now. So Peachy still under a little bit of pressure. Senor Fak's managed to work his way up a couple of places from the start. We're still only on lap 3 of 9. And yeah, just keep an eye on the tyres, because they're going to start going off fairly quickly, and some of these guys towards the end of the race might really be struggling, especially if they've been battling their way through the field. Fastest lap is currently with Spin. He's still got a lead, but it's not a big lead at the moment. Not insurmountable at this stage. Peachy's starting to gap Senor back through this stage of the Harry all the way at the back there. So these guys are a little bit cut off. Actually, no, they're all still really close in with the battle. So any mistake is going to really penalise these guys. Spin is going to come round. Is he going to beat his previous best lap? No, his tyres are already starting to go off. He's 0.6 slower than the previous one. Indy might already have fastest lap at the back, to be honest. A 51.6, fair bit slower than what they were doing in qualifying. Let's see if there's any battling going on. Pyro's still not really shaking off Kanata there. And Erotico's down in P7 after his battles that we saw. Jezza has got ahead of Pramcol. Pramcol's definitely had a problem somewhere. He's only, well, he's fighting for that reverse grid pole right now as it stands, so he needs to regain his composure and start gapping Anonyma and Cameron behind. And we have Deco in 13th, Julio, and then our only medium runner is actually distant last, setting a 57 on the last lap. It's not good. Looks like Peachy's actually starting to catch Hurricane here, so maybe Hurricane losing a bit of pace that he had at the start of the race. Maybe Peachy's just a little bit more composed. Remember, he was on pole, so in theory he should be the fastest man around here today. But he's dropped to P3. Kanata and Pyro's hotting up though. Let's ride on board with Kanata. Looks like he's thinking about sticking his nose in somewhere. He needs to make progress up the field if he wants to stay in the championship fight into the last round. Pyro's driving very defensively, costing them both quite a bit of time. Eroticos is going to start catching up to these two now. Let's ride on board with him as Kanata's considering a move. Got a heavy braking zone here. He backs out very early, allows Eroticos and Astro. Oof, that was a bit of a dodgy one. That was a bit, but yeah, no harm done to anybody there. So it's very much as you were. Everyone just concertinaed together there. But yeah, we got a four-way fight with Pyro heading the train at the moment. The Mazda is not a strong car around here, which is why you're seeing Pyro specifically struggle a little bit more than we're used to seeing so far this season. Also not necessarily a BMW track either. It's not as strong here as it has been. It's still obviously got pole position for a reason, but yeah, the other cars have a bit more of a shout. Here he comes, Kanata. Pyro closes the door on him. Now we've got another heavy braking zone. Looks like Pyro's managed to create a little bit of a gap, so he's going to survive. His brakes in that Mazda are not very good in those heavy braking zones, so Kanata could outbrake him if he chooses to. He might do it here, let's see. No, he's very, very careful, and Pyro goes wide on the exit. He's going to be able to get alongside, but he's going to have to go all the way around the outside if Kanata wants to overtake Pyro here. And he's got his nose in front at the moment, but we're still some way off the end of this corner, and Pyro's going to get all the traction on the exit, keep the position. And here comes a bunch of cars. Eroticos, Astro, Jezza, incredibly close. Eroticos hits the barrier a little bit and is really late on the brakes, still manages to slot into the gap between the other two cars and gets away with it. And yeah, it's all kicking off now. And this is going to get a lot more difficult for these guys because the tyres really are going to start going off fairly soon, on some of them anyway. Pyro's still struggling to hold Kanata back as well. And the top four are just a mile ahead now, so they're not going to have to worry. Kanata's looking hungry. He's still not close enough though. Maybe if he gets a better exit. He's taking a really wide entry compared to Pyro and Eroticos. Eroticos taking a tight one there because he didn't want Astro to stick his nose in. everyone's super close right now. Pyro and Eroticos opting for the inside line of the corner. Eroticos curbing it a little bit too much, lost a bit of momentum through the corner, but gets away with it. They're all taking different lines through this corner as well. Jez is fancying getting involved in this as well. And Prime Call's caught back up, so it's all kicking off. Eroticos going for it on Kanata, nudges Kanata. Kanata hits Astro, and it looks like... Oh, let's go back. Our first rewind of the day, actually. So Kanata on the outside of Pyro. Eroticos, yeah, went in a little bit too hot into that corner. And then, yeah, Kanata's all the way outside the top 10 now. And is that the end of his championship challenge, that incident? Let's watch it one more time from Eroticos' point of view. Yeah, he should have kept braking. He lifted off the brakes. I don't know. I don't think that was reported, but yeah, really unfortunate incident there. Actually, it held back Astro, which is allowing Jezza to think about a little go, because Astro made a bit of contact. Eroticos going really wide around this corner. It's going to allow for Astro to go around the outside, surely. Eroticos a little bit distracted by the incident that he was just involved in. And yeah, he's not been taking these corners very well here. Okay, and then a much better corner through there for Astro. Hit the apex absolutely beautifully. Allowed him to get alongside. It's not going to be enough now, but he's going to try a good switchback. It's actually made incredibly easy because Eroticos goes off track there, and he's still off track. He's going to lose the spot to Jezza. Jezza all of a sudden from 10th to 7th. Through just sticking in some consistent times and not making any mistakes while everyone else is. And this is yeah, very bad news for Eroticos. It's actually given Pyro up in P5 a lot of breathing space. He's in the 53, so definitely lapping consistently, but not necessarily quickly. Let's see what the top guys, well, 53.2 compared to Pyro's 53.9, so there's a 7/10 gap between them. But yeah, all this fighting is really helping out Pyro. Astro lost a bit of time, but it's starting to reel him back in on the first sector of this lap as well. So maybe the fight for P5 is on. Let's see what's happening a little bit further forward. Looks like Peachy's been caught once again by Senor Fak. And at the front, Spin has actually been caught as well. Hurricane all over the back of Spin now. We might have a challenge between the Lambo and the Nissan. The Nissan is a lot worse on tyres right now, so Hurricane has much more grip through these really tricky corners, and if he can pick his line correctly, he might get an easy overtake for P1 here. See, that's the tyres. Spin can't rely on them anymore. Goes very wide onto the entry of the corner. Actually manages to recover it on the second part. I think Hurricane was a bit distracted about where Spin was going to go next and missed the opportunity there, but he's still got another 2 laps to try and get this victory. A bit further back, Peachy and Fak are in the background ready to capitalise on any mistakes as well. So Spin, basically, all he really needs to do is hit his apexes, and despite the difference in tyres, he should still have the race victory. But the grip on that Lambo at the moment looks absolutely mega. Hurricane just half a second back at the moment. Another wide entry, but he does hit his apex there for Spin. But Hurricane is going to start reeling him in here up the hill. If he gets back in his slipstream, he might, but not. Yeah, I don't know what he's up to. So yeah, he's missed maybe a 10th or 2 on Spin. Spin taking a very wide entry, maybe because he's thinking about going defensive into this corner, and he gets a better exit. But Hurricane has so much traction on the exit. Spin's got the inside line for the next corner. So these are some clever decision making from Spin here to protect the inside line for each of these corners. He's staying on the inside once again. He's saying to Hurricane, if you want this spot, you're going to have to go the long way round. This might be the chance though for Hurricane. Spin is, yeah, he's staying wide, but he's gone a very long way around that corner. That's allowed Hurricane to get very momentarily ahead. Now Spin's made the mistake. He's gone too deep into that corner, and it ended up being fairly straightforward for Hurricane. And it's not over yet, because Spin's tyres are in a worse condition than Peachy's. Peachy might get this position as well. Spin might have a very rough last lap or so. The performance has definitely dropped off of that Huggies Nissan car. And yeah, Hurricane is on for potentially a race win on his comeback, which would be phenomenal. I think he looked out a little bit with the Lambo becoming available just as he came back, to be honest, at the best track for the Lambo. Peachy's stopped his advance on Spin at the moment. Spin's regained his composure quite clearly. Peachy is now in that tricky position where he needs to either overtake or Senor Fak might overtake him. Fak's got a much better exit, but his tyres are pretty gone. We're in the final lap now. Hurricane takes turn 1. Fak is challenging Peachy. He's got the inside line. Peachy's going to try maybe a cut back. The BMW is falling backwards now, outside of the podium positions for Peachy. Looks like Jezza and Anonyma are having a little battle in for the lower points in the top 10. They're side by side going up the hill, with Primecall lurking in the background as well. Pyro also under pressure from Eroticos. There's loads of battles happening on this final lap. Jezza's tyres are in a beautiful condition. He's going to go on the inside. Anonyma keeps loads of speed, but Jezza's going to have the traction on the exit, and the grip is going to help him around this corner as well. He needs to get a good slingshot round, but he's kind of arrived at the rear end of Anonyma mid-corner, so that's not going to help. And Primecall gives him a little nudge round the corner as well. Anonyma's now very close to Eroticos. So Pyro, once again, is at the head of a train. Let's see what's going on behind him. We've got Eroticos and Anonyma fighting for each other, fighting for P6. Anonyma's got a pretty good exit there. He's going to have to try and go around the outside. It might not work, but Eroticos has so much grip on the inside. Pyro's got the corner all wrong. He's lost 2 positions super easily there. Anonyma's going to slot through and take P6 anyway. Now he's going to try and get P5 off Eroticos. Really precarious braking into here. Pyro's tyres are completely dead. He's gone wide around the corner. He's going to lose another 2 positions. Absolute nightmare for Pyro, but let's rejoin Hurricane as he takes the final couple of corners. He's going to get a win on his comeback. Great drive, and yeah, pretty solid. Didn't put a foot wrong. Some clean overtakes, and the victory for Hurricane. P2 for Spin, P3 for Peachy, and he ended up overtaking Senor Fak at the end there. Unfortunate for him, but P4 and a P5 for Team Renault is pretty solid. Eroticos ahead of Anonyma, and then Jezza 7th, really solid for him. Primecall 8th, Pyro finishing 9th on completely dead tyres. Deco in the top 10 at the end, so he gets reverse grip pole ahead of Astro, who's had a nightmare the last couple of laps, as has Kanata. Julie Show 13th, and Cameron in 14th in the Jag. And Mighty Mini's Smiley was a DNF for this race, but he's going to come back for the feature. Yeah, really, the Mazda, I was driving really carefully on the Mazda tyres in that sprint, and the Mazda is known for having good tyres, but around here, it was like the worst car. I'm not entirely sure what was going on there. Maybe something to do with the fact that you can't even take curbs in the Mazda. Right, here is the feature. I would not recommend picking the Mazda next season. If you are thinking about cars for next season, it's just a bit of a nightmare. It's not as good as it used to be. The Supra? No, the Supra's good. The Supra's an amazing car. It's not the best, but, well, at some tracks it is the best, actually. Not here. I think it's still the best car at Le Mans as well. So, let's have a quick look through the grid. Let's see if anyone isn't starting on mediums. Looks like everyone, yep, everyone is starting on mediums. Got Deco on pole because he finished 10th. Pyro has a chance to redeem himself in this feature race, starting P2, if he can manage his tyres a little bit better than he did in that race. I'm not going to give you my top 3 picks because I do not want them to be stolen by anybody who might be watching. case they get a higher pick than me in the order. Anyway, into turn 1, Deco has a solid lead and Pyro's lost it. Oh no. Oh, guys, what's happened? He's in first gear, he's in second, and he goes full throttle whilst on full lock, and that's just what's going to happen. If you go full throttle in second gear, full lock, you ain't making it out the corner. So Pyro does not have a chance to redeem himself in this race. Prime call, Anonyma. Oh, everyone's battling here. It looks like Erotico's absolutely sent it on Jezza. Jezza's still defending from Erotico. He's got P4, Erotico's 5th, and he's got past his teammate Back, but Back's right there as well. 3 MR cars challenging for 1 corner here. It looks like they're all gonna arrive single file at least. Back loses a bit of traction on the exit. Erotico's hasn't been on the racing line for the entire race, it looks like. Trying to... Oh, Jez is very wide there. Erotico's got the position on Back, as did Peachy. Peachy went through, and Erotico's would have had the position on Jezza if he was able to use the full width of the track there. There's Peachy, Senor Back. Hurricane's all the way up to 8th already. Oh wow, what's happened there? How did Erotico's get that? Wow, that's just all on acceleration. That was a great overtake. Now Jez is having to go defensive from Peachy. Peachy's going to try around the outside. It might actually work for Peachy. He's got the position, great overtake. So bad couple of corners there for Jezza. He's been a bit unlucky, and now he's going to be under pressure from Senor Fak as well. And yeah, it's just unfortunate when you've got some guys who are usually quicker all lining up to overtake you. It can be a little bit difficult because you're just losing positions every corner. That's what's happening to Jezza at the moment, but he can regroup. Well, actually he's going to get caught by Hurricane as well because he went very deep into the final corner. Astro looking for a position as well. Remember, Astro did not finish in the top 10. He's looking, and the door's left open. He's absolutely gone for it, and he gets the position on Jezza, and is Kanata going to try and make his way through as well? So Spin's had an issue somewhere. There's a big gap behind Kanata. Hurricane and Astro going side by side for P7. Looks like Astro's got his nose ahead. Oh, again, very deep by Jezza. Lots of unforced errors here. Senor Fak as well, another one. He's gone off track there. Hurricane's going to try and move around the outside. Astro's thinking about sticking his nose on the inside. There's no space for him. And Kanata's going to go for it on Astro now. He's going to try and... Oh, I'm amazed there wasn't any contact there. Everyone survived somehow. These guys are losing a lot of time going side by side like this. And yeah, still no changes in position. Hurricane's got the best chance though here. Kanata, if he's brave, can chuck it down the inside. He decides not to. Now Astro's got a great exit there compared to Senor Fak. Senor Fak should keep his nose in front heading into the next corner. Hurricane is not on wheel, no. He's on pad and on automatic. Anyway, Senor Fak very deep there, loses the position quite easily to Astro in the end. Now Kanata queuing up to get by. Looks like Hurricane's starting to get away from Astro a little bit as well. Whoa, very deep braking there by Senor Fak. I don't know what he was thinking. It was not the smartest idea, because now look, Kanata's right up the back of him going into turn 1. He's having to go defensive again. Going to lose a little bit more time to the cars in front. And yeah, Kanata had a pretty good... Oh, why is Peachy there? Is he going to do a pyro? He does. He saves it though. That's unlucky because he was being a lot more careful than what Pyro was out of that corner. but he's going to lose 2 positions there. So Hurricane up into P5 already. Senor Fast going to get through as well. Now his teammate Kanata, who did bit of contact between the teammates. Nearly punts Peachy off the track, but gets away with it. Peachy keeps that position. Jezza might actually get a position back after his errors a little bit earlier on. Kanata having to go defensive now. He might have a wheel, but I'm pretty sure he's not racing on it. So yeah, we're starting to see some gaps forming now. Let's go back up to the front. Deco's still doing pretty well. He's in P1, just ahead of Prime Call. The McLaren, another MR car that's fairly good round here. Erotico's starting to, well, he's keeping pace. He's actually going purple here on the medium tyre, so he's feeling very comfortable in this phase of the race. He's completely dropped Anonymous. Anonymous still doing pretty well in P4. Might start getting caught by Hurricane. Senor Fak just stuck behind Astro now, and Peachy has recovered to be P8 at the moment. So yeah, lots of action so far at the start of this feature. We're only on lap 3, and with 5 times tyre wear, it'll be interesting to see what people do. I'm expecting almost everyone to do a 2-stop. Starting potentially next lap. Right, Senor Fak's got a run on Astro. Is he going to be brave into turn 1? 52.1, that fastest lap by Eroticos, by the way. So the Renault loves tracks like this. This is a perfectly suited track for the Renault. And it's not because it's in France, it's because it doesn't have to really get up into its 7th gear and start losing time because it's got bad top speed. Yeah, Fak's got a lot of time on Peachy there. Right, let's see what's going on a bit further forward. It looks like Prime Call is closing the gap on Deco. Let's follow with Prime Call and see how he takes these next few corners, see if he can actually close the gap. They've got very, very similar tyre wear, these two cars. Actually, Deco's holding his own pretty well here. Might keep the position for a little while longer. What's they're very similar on fuel. Deco's very slightly higher, maybe 1 or 2% more worn at the moment. So that could. Oh, Andy's took that corner pretty poorly compared to Prime Call. Prime Call's managed to close the gap to about 2 or 3 tenths of a second here. And Deco's wide. Prime Call had to really bail out of it there to avoid the contact. And they both survive. But yeah, this could be a tough one for Deco these next couple of laps. Eroticos here could be his saving grace if he starts causing problems for Prime Call. He's going to try, and yeah, he goes onto the grass. I see what he was trying to do there, but very difficult to avoid doing exactly that if you get on the power a little bit too early to try and get the jump on the car ahead. Very good brakes on the Renault as well, it's got to be said. Not the best turn in. Deco getting that corner a little bit wrong on the exit as well. It's allowed Prime Call to move back towards him again. Now this is dirty air territory, this kind of distance here. So I'm going through the fast corners. It is easy at this point for Prime Call to start sliding his car because it's got less grip due to the dirty air affecting the downforce. I'm pretty sure the dirty air didn't used to be as bad in GT as it currently is. It's quite difficult to follow now. And this might be what you're seeing here, because it looks like Prime Call has the pace on Deco. Deco's been making some minor errors as well, just like there. Where he goes deep, this might be Prime Call's chance actually. He's got a better exit, he's going to have to hold it around the outside. Deco's got the inside for this corner, and Primecall goes very deep around the corner. Don't forget Eroticos is here as well. He's decided to updraft Primecall instead of trying a move himself. They are pretty close going into these final couple of corners. Deco's gone deep again. Again, he's going to have the inside line for the final corner. Both of their lines are compromised. Eroticos doesn't take full advantage of it, but he does have a chance to get on the inside of Primecall. Primecall instantly goes defensive. So Eroticos maybe trying to move around the outside into turn 1. And yeah, he couldn't execute the switchback very well there. He needed to really start touching the apex towards the exit of that corner, and he was just a bit too wide, but still very, very close. Anonymous still isn't near these guys. Oh man. Both of them having a look at the car in front, thinking about sticking a nose in. Deco again with a poor exit to that corner. And Primecall's, if the door's been left open, Primecall's going to take it. And he hasn't got it fully completed yet. The engine on the Supra is coming in handy there as in that mini little drag race down to that next corner. They're still side by side again. Primecall's going to have to try and move around the outside here. Eroticos is still causing issues. Deco might potentially lose 2 positions here. Wide into the corner. Eroticos, oh, a little bit of contact. Deco keeps the position as a result. So, new race leader is the McLaren of Primecall. Now the question is Deco going to be able to keep Eroticos behind him for enough time for Primecall to build a cushion? Because it looks like Deco hasn't got the pace to win today. Eroticos potentially does, but he has to get past Deco very quickly, because the gap is probably 2 seconds now to Primecall. To see if anyone's going to make an early pit stop here. Deco stays out, and Eroticos going to have to slot in behind him. There's some jostling for positions a bit further back. Looks like Senor Fac's been knocked down to 9th place, and he's instead dived into the pits instead of fighting these guys any longer. Hurricane's been jostled down to 6th. He was 5th, so Astro's got past him as well. So it's all starting to kick off now once again as the tyres start wearing. Everyone's starting to bunch up. Eroticos thinking about a move, and he's got the inside line. Deco again very wide around that corner. He's not taking it very well at all in this race. And he's still got the position though, but he's already lost a second on this lap compared to his fastest. I don't think the performance should have dropped off that much just yet. Again, going defensive. Let's ride on board with Eroticos. I feel like a move is being lined up. Eroticos, if he gets a better line through this corner than Deco, could get it on the exit. Deco hugging the inside line on the exit prevents Eroticos from being able to get that close. You can see Eroticos backing out a little bit earlier than he'd like to for that corner to make sure that he avoids any potential contact with the car in front. Oh, off track a little bit. Loses a good chunk of time to Deco. Deco's got a little bit of breathing space for a couple of corners. Anonymous now is getting caught by the chasing pack as well. So Astro is the first one on his list, and Hurricane following very close behind, and then it's the 2 BMW M6s. Peachy's dived into the pits anyway. Eroticos very deep into turn 1. Excuse me. Yeah, he's not going to be able to get a move done. But yeah, Astro super close now. He's going to try and hold it around the outside and then outbrake him on the inside. Anonymous gives him plenty of room. Astro gets the position. He's up to P4 now. And potentially, if Deco keeps battling with Eroticos, Astro could be on for a potential P2 here. Prime Call seems to be getting away from them both. Eroticos is caught back up to Deco again. Oh, and again he's touching the dirt. So really using the width of the track and more. And a bit wide through that corner compared to Deco. The tyres are not giving the grip that they were a few laps ago, and the drivers really need to adjust to minimise the time that they're losing. Every time that they try to brake like they were on lap 1, they're going to keep going deep and losing even more time. That's why Eroticos is 1.8 off his fastest lap so far. Every time I come to this battle, it's just after Deco's made a mistake, then he stops making them. So there's Anonyma though. Like, the battle in the top 8 is still very close. We might see some drivers coming in the pits. It's not going to be Prime Call. He's carrying on for another lap. Deco is as well. Eroticos has had enough of being stuck behind him. He's trying the undercut, as is Astro. Hurricane carries on, but Anonyma and Kanata are both in the pits. Jezza hasn't pit yet. He's carrying on. And then it is Peachy who's got an undercut on these guys. So his tyres are already a little bit worn, but it looks like he's got the position on a lot of them. Eroticos is ahead of him, but Kanata's just come out in P7. Astro is down, he's putting some fuel, I believe. He's down in 8th now. Spin on fresh mediums is in 9th. We've not seen much of him. He didn't undercut as well. And then Sinioff back down in 10th. Anonymous come out on the hards with a full tank. So he's going to try the one stop to the end. We'll have to see how that goes. I don't have much confidence in that strategy. Pyro, after his first corner mishap, is in 12th at the moment. Still ahead of Cameron, Harry and Julio, who's also gone onto the hards. So any battles going on at the top? Not really. Eroticos might catch Jezza if Jezza stays out any longer. That is the gap you can see right in front of you. Eroticos really needs to nail this outlap if he wants to get that position on Deco. A little bit deep through that corner, and the gap's completely gone now. Eroticos is right behind Jezza, so he's going to have a slow final sector unless he can get past Jezza on this straight. It looks like Jezza got a pretty good exit, so it's not going to happen just yet. He'll be having to wait and hope that Jezza decides to go into the pits on this lap to release him. And yeah, Jezza's decided to stay out, so Eroticos going to have to do it the hard way. Into turn 1, he's got the overspeed and he's got the grip. And it looks like Jezza gave him plenty of room there. So that was a little bit of time lost for Eroticos, but it's not going to be the worst thing because Deco's decided to stay out another lap. His tyres are almost in puncture territory. They might be by the end of this lap, actually. Prime Call, another one who's decided to stay out. So these guys might be trying the one stop. You make it to lap 11, and well, yeah, it's a very short pit lane though, so a lot of people are going to be two-stopping. These might be the only two. Well, and Hurricane could one-stop as well. I don't think it's the right strategy, personally. Eroticos is top of the cars that have made a pit stop by quite a margin, actually. Then you got Jezza, who still has to pit. Then it's Peachy, so he's like potentially net P2 if he really nails these this undercut. Same for Kanata, he's quite away off Peachy at the moment. But he's got some clear air now. Astro stuck behind him on with slightly more fuel. And then, yeah, Spin's starting to catch them a little bit as well. 52.5 Spin on that last lap. And then Senioff back is the last one in the top 10. He should be expecting a little bit better, but he made, well, he was involved in some drama at the start of the race. So let's see what Prime Call's going to do. He's rounding the final corners again. I think he's got enough to risk the one stop. You might as well if you stayed out for 10 laps. No, he's coming in now, so I'm not sure If he's going to try 12 on mediums, Deco is coming in as well. Hurricane is staying out, so he's doing the one stop 11-11. He's going to stop for medium tyres. And then why should I watch someone else? Let's see what happens to Deco out of the pits. I have a feeling there's going to be an incident. He's dropping very low down. He is trying the one stop. He's on mediums. Again, I think. Yeah, he is on the mediums. So this is an interesting strategy. Prime Call also doing the exact same thing. He's challenging Senor back up the hill. Going to try it around the outside to get that position. So he's dropped back quite a bit, putting in all that extra fuel. He needs to just focus on looking after his tyres more than making up positions. Same for Deco. I think it's going to be a tough one. At least he's got fresh tyres for now, but it's going to come in. Oh, Pyro and Anon having a nice little fight there. Pyro getting the position on the car that opted for hard tyres. See anything happening a little further up. Eroticos and Hurricane very close together. So remember, Hurricane inherited the lead of the race because he still hasn't made his pit stop. But technically, both him and Eroticos only have one more pit stop to make in this race. So this really is a battle for the lead. And yeah, beautiful line through that corner from Eroticos. Hurricane trying to protect the inside. He's not going to do too much to protect it. Eroticos swoops around him, and Hurricane's going to be coming into the pits anyway, so he didn't want to get involved in any drama on his almost punctured tyres, it's got to be said. But he's managed them pretty well. Now I'm expecting him to come in, and that will promote our championship leader, Peachy, up into P2. So on for another good result. Managed to get P3 right at the end of the last race, and just solidly getting these podiums. That is how you win championships in ALR, because it's a level of consistency that you need. Kanata's still not under any trouble from Astro. Spin's still there as well. Then there's Senor Fac and Prime Call, so none of those guys are that far away from each other. Deco now in 8th, just ahead of Pyro and Hurricane. I think he's lost a bit of time somewhere. I won't rewind to find out what happened. Then Jezza came out. He's on a one stop. He's down in 13th as well. So yeah, where did Hurricane come out? In 10th. So he's going to catch Pyro and Deco fairly soon, I reckon. But let's rejoin this battle as Senor Fac goes off track. I was going to say they've been having a good little battle for a couple of laps, but that was an easy overtake for Prime Call because of a mistake, going very wide. His tyres are still a little bit dirty going around that corner, nearly span out again. Prime Call up into P6 now. Remember, he doesn't have to pit again. So if he can keep good pace on this stint and not lose time behind people or battling people, he could be ahead when everyone else makes the pit stops. Oof. You want to avoid hitting the dirt there though. Astro's lost a bit of pace to Kanata. Kanata's starting to close the gap on Peachy as well. But Erotico's absolutely in pole position. He's on soft tyres, which is a crazy, crazy idea. I mean, the Renault does have really good tyre life, but we're on 5 times around the highest tyre wear track on the calendar. So I'm assuming he's going to be coming in at the end of this lap, because I don't think those can do 2 more laps. And then he's going to come out in the thick of a big battle between some of these guys. So, yeah, might not be looking so good for Peachy, for Eroticos at the moment. Everyone else out on the mediums, just having a quick look through. Looks like it as well. Pyro looking to have a move on Deco. Deco leaves the door open. Oh, Pyro loses some traction. Hurricane's just going to swoop past Pyro now. There he is, yeah. Absolutely no pace up the hill once you've lost the traction there. Nearly, that is the corner where he made a spin as well. So Hurricane up into P9, looking to get another position fairly quickly as Deco slides around the corner. But Hurricane doesn't take it too well. He's very, very cautious. And they're already dropping Pyro a little bit. So Pyro's struggling. Fairly worn tyres as well. Deco's tyres are still in good nick too, so it shouldn't be that easy for Hurricane. Right, anything else happening? Primecole's starting to catch spin actually. Spin's tyres are starting to go off a little bit. Primecole on for his fastest lap of the race so far as well. So this is a good moment of the race for Primecole. It's a bit like a yo-yo kind of situation with this track and strategy, because everyone's pitting on different laps now. So once you pit, your tyres are super fresh, you got so much more pace, and then you lose it because the other cars ended up pitting and having the benefit when yours are starting to go off. So Orozco's does make his pit stop. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out. He's having to put fuel in this time as well. I don't know if he put in fuel previously. So he's potentially outside the top 10 here. But other people will have to pit. So there's Deco, who we think doesn't have to make another pit stop, and Hurricane, who we know definitely doesn't have to make another pit stop. And Orozco slots out in behind them. So he's going to have to overtake them on merit. Pyro might try and spoil the party here. Looks like he's got a good run on Orozco's. He's going to be brave on the brakes. I don't think... Oh, he is. He's going for it. Oh. That was a horrible corner from Hurricane. And it got in Orozco's way. He had to lift out, but he still kept the position on Pyro somehow. Pyro should have really swooped through there once that happened. Interesting. Hurricane's fully caught up to Deco now and starting to challenge him into this corner. And he's trying everything he can, Hurricane here. He's actually got himself alongside on the inside as well. This should be the position done and dusted for Hurricane. He's going to start his march up towards Primecole now. He's got Senor Fak even, he's got that position. And that's an important one because, like I said, Deco, I don't think he's going to have to pit either. Deco has a little look on the entry into the braking zone, but backs out of it. Now Orozco's going to have to do the same on Deco. I think Deco's going to have to make another pit stop here. His tyres are already not looking great when we've got 8 laps to go. Maybe he's going to do a medium soft. But this is horrendous for if you're running an alternate strategy. Senor Fak's in the pits as well, so he's going to come in for another set of mediums. He's already put in plenty of fuel. Orozco's going for it down the inside. Deco holding it around the outside still. Good little battle between these two. Pyro's got a good view of it here. And Deco keeps ahead because the Toyota is just so much better than the Renault on the straight, and that's basically the one part of the track where you see that benefit. And it's helped Deco survive just for now at least. Here comes Orozco's around the outside, trying to take a wider entry into the corner to get a better slingshot exit. Looks like it could have worked, but he lost a little bit of traction, maybe in the dirty air of Deco. Now he's going to chuck it down the inside, he's going for it. Space is left by both of them. It looks like Orozco has finally got past Deco. Took a lot of corners of pressure, but it paid off in the end. Now Deco needs to basically regain his composure and make sure he doesn't lose a position to Pyro here. Pyro's obviously coming into the pits fairly soon as well. Probably at the end of this lap. Peachy has inherited the lead of the race after Orozco's came into the pits, by the way. We know he's going to have to make a pit stop. He's actually been caught quite quickly by Kanata here. So we got the top 2 in the championship in the top 2, but Kanata fancying a position here on his teammate. Kanata has slightly better tyres. Peachy lost... Oh, they're both in the pits actually, with 1% of fuel left. So we're going to have to see what happens in the pit stops. Primecole's going to take the lead of the race, as he made his only pit stop of the race a few laps ago now. It's got quite a comfortable lead as well. Hurricane's now in P2. Orozco's back up into the podium positions. Deco there as well. Then we've got Peachy and Kanata coming out of the pits at the exact same time. It looks like Kanata put slightly less fuel in, got the jump on Peachy, and yeah, that's a great move by Kanata. He's in the lead of the cars that have had to make a later pit stop, a second stop now. He's only got cars that are on much worse tyres ahead of him, so if he could keep Peachy behind and shake him off, he's got the potential to make his way up to second, if not first. Primecall has a huge lead at the moment, to be fair. Peachy might come under a little bit of pressure himself from Senor Fak, who's lurking in the background now. Yeah, there's Fak. He's enjoying this track now. Here's Kanata going round the banking, and Peachy's shook off Senor Fak a little bit. Now Astro is pretty close to the back of Senor Fak, and then Jez is still hanging in there in 9th, still doing pretty well in the Lambo. Senor Fak going very wide through the entry, but Astro being a little bit careful himself, doesn't actually gain any time on Fak. He's lost some time to Kanata, worrying about what's happening in his windscreen mirrors. Yeah, see? He's letting himself get a little bit too distracted by Fak here. He went wide through that corner because Senor Fak kind of gave a little bit of a dummy that he was going to go for a move there, but obviously didn't. Oh, look how much of a better corner exit that you get in the Renault compared to the M6. That's the first weakness I've ever seen of the M6 actually caught on the screen. Astro lurking in the background as well. There's a nice little battle going on a bit further forward for P2. Eroticos has actually got past Hurricane somewhere. Right, let's see what's gone on here. Through turn 1, Eroticos gets a really lovely exit compared to the Lambo. And he's going to try it around the outside. And he's still held it in there. Now he's got the inside for the next corner. It's going to be fairly straightforward in the end. Good little overtake from Roscoe's. Hurricane's still going to try and hold it around the outside again here, but he's nowhere near enough alongside. We've got Deco starting to get caught now by Kanata. Deco's last laps are in the 54s. Kanata's just done his out lap, so we're expecting much quicker times from Kanata than a 54, that's for sure. Then we've got Astro really close to Senor Fak now. It's all starting to kick off. We've got quite a few laps left to go. These guys are on very different levels of tyre life. Still nothing any of them can do, but Kanata really has caught up quickly to Deco on this lap. Deco's tyres are over 50% warm, which means that they are well past their sell-by date. Here we go. I think there's going to be... Oh, well, smart move there by Deco, deciding to go defensive into the corner, but it makes him go deep. He's got the inside line for the next corner, so not too much to worry about. Kanata might have a better exit from the final corner as we see Rotikos and Hurricane looking like they're going side by side again into turn 1. Rotikos winning that fight, and Kanata finally winning the fight. The fake Toyota is ahead of the real Toyota. Now we'll see how the engine of the real Toyota is far superior to the M6, and he's probably going to keep this position now again. So Kanata will have thought that was done and dusted. He's going to have to do it the hard way around the outside of this corner. He goes very deep into the corner and gets away with it pretty well. So P4 finally for Kanata. Hurricane not letting Rotikos run away just yet, so this is good news for Prime Call, whose tyres are around about 50% worn as well. Oh no. It was going so good. Let's see. Not under any real pressure from Hurricane here. Takes too much curb and it turns into grass and he just spins it. Now, where's this going to end up putting him? He's got loads of damage on his car. He's down from 7th to 9th to 10th. That is a huge number of points lost on the simplest of mistakes. And Rotikos has gone from potentially trying to hunt down Prime Call for the win, and now it's looking incredibly comfortable for Prime Call because he has a huge lead over Hurricane and the tyres are very similar. Prime Call's tyres are a little bit worse. He did come in a lap earlier. Kanata is the one with the freshest tyres, so potentially he could chase down Hurricane. Then we got Deco holding up everyone because his tyres are pretty shoddy now as well. Senor Fak is the one behind him, then Peachy's behind Senor Fak now. And it's going to be easy for Fak, surely. Deco's going to go defensive, and he's going to go deep again to protect the next corner. And, well, he went deep, and Fak went even deeper and went around the outside of him. Wow, that needs a replay. Deco's been getting away with this little move all race long, and it's not going to work this time, because Senor Fak isn't going to try and go around the inside. Gets the outside and makes it the inside and gets P4. That's a great little move. Now Peachy's under pressure from Astro. Everyone's so close together now. Astro's going to try and get a good exit, but he gets a little bit of barge onto the grass there. Nothing wrong with it, but yeah, everyone's bunching together a little bit too much. It feels like there might be an incident fairly soon. Especially with the differences in tyres. Look at that great exit from that corner from Astro compared to Peachy. And he's going to get the position. He managed to stick it in, and yeah, Peachy's falling backwards now. Peachy not having fun in this feature race at all in the thick of it with these other drivers. Now this surely is going to be a position in a corner or two as well. Astro looks on very fine form at the moment. So they're both taking a very wide entry. Astro manages to bring it down a little bit better, which is why he's got a better exit through the corner. He just had to lift slightly, lost a bit of momentum. Peachy's going to try and stick his nose in the hairpin. Oh, that wasn't good. So Peachy backs out of it because he knows he messed up a little bit. And now he's probably getting overtaken by Spin. Spin is absolutely on a charge here. Unfortunately, he's going to try and go down the middle. That's not advisable. He actually makes a little bit of contact with Astro. Astro manages to brake for the corner. I don't know what happened with Deco, but he completely took the corner badly. Let's see if he's actually had any contact, because everyone's so close to each other here. He doesn't actually make any contact. It's an unforced error for Deco, and now Eroticos and Jezza are right behind, and he's just lost 3 positions very quickly there. Eroticos lost traction on the exit. Now Deco has decided to let them past. I think he's had enough now. Jezza looking for P8 on Eroticos. Two MR cars, never really used much in ALR before this season, for the physics update really made them viable again. But yeah, not really battling each other. The battle here is between Spin, who managed to get past Peachy after being held behind Deco for so long. That's allowed Spin to really catch up, and he's got a potential for finishing in the top 5 in this race. Oh. More damage, more drama, this time for the championship leader. So, lap 20 of 22, that is when we're seeing the mistakes kick in, that's for sure. It is a hard slog, this track. You don't really get much time to breathe and think, because the corners come in thick and fast, and you have to think about where to brake compared to what your tyre's doing. So yeah, Peachy's lost 4 seconds on this lap already. So that's good news for Spin. Spin is now able to try and put his focus into catching Astro for P5. So, last 2 laps of the race. Let's see what Prime Call's doing. So his tyres are looking a little bit worse for wear. But he's got the comfort of not having to battle anyone. If he had to battle someone, then it would be very difficult for him right now. Hurricane has been caught by Kanata. Kanata fancying one more position as Hurricane's going a little bit deep into that corner, having to brake a lot to correct himself, allowing Kanata to close the gap a little bit more. Kanata's tyres much better than Hurricane's right now, and he's going to have to use every tenth that he's got in those tyres if he wants to get this position. Maybe he's going to be brave under braking. He looks like he half went for a move. Hurricane well within his rights to close the door there and keeps the position for now. But he's got to do it for another lap and a half. And again, Hurricane missing the apex there. And now we're approaching the corner where Kanata should have his biggest advantage. So we'll see how these two negotiate the lines. Yeah, but both of them having to lift quite a lot on the exit, which is not what you want. Yeah, Kanata's really having to do a lot of lifting here to avoid making contact with Hurricane right now. So, oh, and there we go, there's the mistake that Kanata pressured Hurricane into. There's an easy P2 for Kanata. It looked like it was going to be a difficult one, or potentially some contact was about to be made between these two, but yeah, it's looking good for Kanata on as we head into the final lap. He's got an outside chance of catching Prime Call. Prime Call's in puncture territory. I think he should have just a little bit of life on these tyres at the end, but he's lapping in the 55s. Kanata in the 53s despite being stuck behind Hurricane all that lap. Now, Senor Fak looking for a position, a place on the podium once again. He's had podiums in the past 2 weeks. He's looking for a third week with a podium. Now he's going to have to do it the long way around. His tyres are fresher than Hurricane's as well. And yeah, quite a straightforward move there for Hurricane. Not for Hurricane, for Fak. Yeah, and he's going to cover it off pretty well there. Astro has managed to fend off Spin. Spin is going to settle for P6 by the looks of it. Rotico's 7th, Peachy 8th after their mistakes that they made. Jezza is currently in 9th, Deco in 10th on very, very worn tyres. So Pyro outside the top 10, as is Anonyma, Harry and Cameron, unfortunately for them. But let's join Prime Call, because yeah, it's been a very solid race. He's made the one-stop work, which I didn't think anyone would be able to do and actually win the race, but everyone else has either made big mistakes or got stuck behind other drivers for long periods of time, or so Prime Call's not had any of that because of the strategy that everyone else chose compared to him, and he's gonna take the last couple of corners, as long as nothing unusual happens, take quite a convincing victory here. after a poor sprint race and a poor qualifying by his standards, he's actually going to get a race win in Alsace in the feature race. So congrats to Prime Call for that. Kanata recovering from 12th on the grid to 2nd is great. Fenyon Fak once again on the podium. Hurricane a P1 and a P4 for his return is a great points haul. Spin in P5, really solid. Astro 6th, Eroticos 7th in the end. Peachy in 8th. Then we've got Jezza. We've got Deco with his very ambitious one stop. Didn't quite work out for him down in 10th. Pyro, not quite sure what happened to him. We didn't see him all race, but he's 11th. Anonyma on his hard tyre gamble. It didn't pay off. He is 12th place. Then we've got Harry, who started P15 after DNFing the first race, so you can guess how badly it went for him before he decided to do that. On the soft tyres at the end, gets P13, and Cameron is just, yeah, he's struggling a lot in the Jag. So yeah, that's it. We've got quite a commanding lead for Peachy still in the standings ahead of Kanata. So it's not done and dusted yet. There's still plenty of points to play for in the final 2 rounds. I think there's 86 total that drivers can recoup. So yeah, join us next week because we will be in the Nordschleife. So it's going to be a crazy one. Yeah, anything can happen there, basically. Anyone could win that race.